Okay, we're headed to Cort's. How festive. Let's knock.
Hey, Mandy.
Hi, Cort. How are you?
I'm doing well. You want to come in? It's a little cold outside.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see if we could ask you a few questions.
Yeah, of course. Go for it.
So, we just kind of want to get to know you a little bit.
Sweet.
What's one thing people don't know about you?
Probably that I play the drums. It's been a few years since I've done that for Focus.
Wow.
And so, I've been doing that since I was 13, and I love it, but I just, haven't made a lot of opportunities to do it in front of people.
Wow. Window or aisle seat?
Window seat, I don't like being climbed over. I would much rather be the one inconveniencing people. And I also like the view you get with a window seat. So.
Absolutely. Most recent TV show you watched?
Probably the Animaniacs. They're back. First time since I've been basically a toddler that I can watch the Animaniacs.
How would you define yourself in 3 words?
Probably friendly, mellow, and a gamer.
Favorite hobby then?
Probably playing video games, but also like skating, like playing the drums.
Show us your setup here for your video game.
Setup. So I've got my desktop here. I don't really want to read out the specs because there are a lot of just random numbers that maybe our students would know, but I don't want to bore people with that. Got my microphone, my audio interface down there, 2 monitors, and my headphones that are very sound designer-y.
Perfect.
And then my little webcam with a ring light because I like to be fancy. I like to look pretty in all these Zoom calls.
Dream country to visit?
Oh man, probably Canada because that's where Vancouver is, and I consider Vancouver maybe one of the 2 or 3 prettiest towns in the world. So.
Favorite food?
Probably steak. It's the favorite to make for sure.
Good choice. Favorite dessert?
Either red velvet cake or snickerdoodles.
Favorite snack?
If snickerdoodles don't count as a snack,
no,
then
for sure no.
Mixed nuts, trail mixes, stuff like that. I just like, the sweet and salty stuff.
Favorite fast food restaurant?
Probably Cane's. I don't know if you can go wrong with Cane's or Chick-fil-A. And I know not a lot of people consider it a fast food restaurant, but I love Jersey Mike's. Great sandwiches.
What's your least favorite?
Jack in the Box. I really don't know why people go to eat there.
Agreed.
I've had it once,
Agreed.
and I will never go back.
Agreed. What book did you recently finish?
I feel a little bit bad about this one. Last book I finished was Pastor by William Willimon, which I read over the summer. I have done bits and pieces of My Utmost for His Highest since then, which is a great devotional book if anyone's looking for one of those. But mostly what I've been doing for my learning is listening to some class audios from Regent College by Professor Sarah Williams on Christian history. She covers kind of the history of the church from maybe the year about 300 till the Reformation.
Very cool.
It's been very interesting.
So what's the biggest learning experience you had?
Oh man, probably learning to adjust my systems. I was very set in my ways when I joined Focus. I found out very quickly that, your ways have to change with the times if you want to stay on top of everything. And while I would consider myself still in that process, I definitely think that I've learned a lot through just getting more organized.
If you weren't a campus minister, what would you be?
Probably a sound designer. That's what I went to school for. I still love doing sound design. I love, mixing podcasts. I love, just listening. Anything that has cool sound, like movies where sound is a big aspect. Just love all that stuff. And I would probably just dive right back into that if I wasn't doing campus ministry.
Mm-hmm. Favorite movie?
A few of them. La La Land's one of them. It's a pseudo-musical, but very artistic and very good film, but super sad. So if you haven't seen it, brace yourself. Into the Spider-Verse, favorite animated film, though. I have to mention it because it might be one of the most well-done animations ever to grace our earth. And then I also love Baby Driver for that good mix of movie and music.
What's your idea of a perfect date?
Actually sitting right here on my couch with... I've done this very recently, but sitting here, pizza on our little pull-up
Whoa, fancy!
table, and then, watching a movie.
And
We
your
actually,
fine
Kelsey and I
TV.
recently did watch La La Land and do that exact thing, so it was a great night.
Very cool. Where do you connect with God best?
Best in Colorado, because I think being just a little bit away from society but in creation really helps me connect as an artist, like, to the beautiful things God has made. And I can like sit there and I can look at all that and think, I think this is beautiful, but how much more does the person who created it think it's beautiful? And that's very cool. But since I don't have access to Colorado every day, I'll just sit out on my balcony and prayer out there with just the white noise of the world is really, really nice.
What makes you smile?
A lot of things. Jokes. My wife just being herself. My cat, unfortunately, being herself is very silly. So.
Can we meet your wife and your cat?
Yeah, I mean, they're back in the back. Kelsey, can you bring Aiko?
She's out here. Oh, she's over here, Cort. I see
I thought she went
her.
in the back.
I see her. So
She's
what?
She's going to love the attention. Hey, Aiko. Oh, you're already moving
there.
away.
And then there's the lovely wife.
That'll help her a little bit.
Yes, she's a very pretty cat. We love her, but she doesn't really love people. She kind of keeps to herself. Oh no, is it?
She loves us.
She does love us, but she does also keep to herself.
What song could you listen to on repeat?
So I listened to a song by a band who's no longer together called For Today. But the name's Seraphim, the name of the song. And I know by the time I finished high school, so I first heard the song, I think either in 8th grade or freshman year of high school. And by the time I was done, I had listened to it about 1,100 times. And I know I've listened to it a lot since then. So I just love the song.
So what is a skill you're mastering?
Definitely organization, time management. Like I said before, I'm definitely still in the midst of that. But I think that I've gotten myself in a place that I like, but I also still see the little bits and pieces that I can grow in, and I'm constantly making sure to, shore those up and get better.
Favorite board game?
Well, I like a lot of board games. I definitely prefer to play video games if I'm going to play a game. So I'll give you one of each. Favorite board game? Probably the tabletop game, D&D. Play that with my friends. Been playing it for a few years now. Definitely love the improv and the storytelling that goes into that game. And my favorite game is this pretty new game called Hades, where you play as the son of Hades, and the Greek gods and goddesses are helping you escape the underworld. It's a really fun little dungeon exploring game, but has really good music, which is another reason I love it.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas. Usually I don't set up for Christmas this early in the year, but given 2020, it's probably been time to celebrate the hope of the birth of Christ since July. So.
Absolutely. What's one thing you've always wanted to try but haven't gotten to?
Trying another country's food in that country. I haven't really traveled out of the country that I can remember. When I was 4, I went to Germany, but that trip basically is gone from my mind. And I just think, we have a lot of different countries' foods here in America, but they're generally very Americanized versions of it. So I really want to try authentic food.
Your favorite musical artist?
Single artist would be a guy named Aaron Gillespie. He's been in a few bands. He's done a few solo projects and worship projects. I just really love the way he sings and the way he writes music. But my favorite band would probably be a band called Emery, who I've been listening to since middle school. And they're one of a handful of bands that I can say has never put out an album I would consider as bad. But they also have a lot more albums put out than all the other bands that I put in that group. So I'm very impressed by the quality of music they make.
What's a trend you would like to see end forever?
Cancel culture, 100%. There's not even a competition in my mind for this one. The idea of not trying to help people understand when they're wrong, but instead punishing them for being wrong, drives me nuts.
What's the best compliment you've received?
That I'm a really good friend. Actually, someone who I'm very close to right now told me that one time, that I was not only a good friend to them, but they also observed me as a great friend to other people, and that touched me right here.
Best way to rest or decompress?
Decompress, definitely morning coffee and prayer. I think that just kind of sets me on an even line. Every day that I get to do that is a good day. And
you have a fancy coffee maker too.
Yeah, I have an espresso machine over here that my wife got. One of the few gems of Facebook Marketplace, I guess you could say.
Fancy.
I'm not going to make coffee because it's very noisy. But yeah, this thing gets me and my wife through a lot of days.
So what's your favorite verse?
Be Romans 8:31 through the end. I can't recite all of it from memory, unfortunately, but I'll give you the idea. It's this imagery of like God and Christ being in a courtroom with you, and Paul sets the scene as this one of the people who have the authority or the like ability to press charges or to press accusations against you are Christ and God. They're the only ones who can't. But then he turns the image as they're the only people in your corner as well. And so if they're for you, who can be against you? And as someone who doesn't deal with anxiety very consistently, when I am anxious, it feels a lot worse than it just generally would be to feel anxious. And that verse, just like that reminder that there's no one other than like Christ and God who could put anything against me, and the fact that they're on my team gives me just a lot of hope.
Well, thank you so much, Cort. We really appreciate it, and you just have the best Thanksgiving and Christmas ever.
Thank you, y'all too.
Bye.
Bye.